You're listening to She's the Business podcast.
If you're able to communicate your value with confidence, then you're far more likely to be able to get paid what you're worth, which means that, yes, you're charging what you're worth. And today's episode is titled, What Does Charge Your Worth Really Mean? Because, wow, it can be a contentious topic. And most people, by the way, have got the meaning completely twisted. So let's dive into what does this actually mean from a business sense when we say charge your worth or price your services to charge your worth. And I'm not going to spoil the surprise for you. So listen in, it's coming right up, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions after listening to this episode.
Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration.
What does charge your worth actually mean? Now, I'm going to attack a bit of a controversial topic today because I see a lot of stuff flying around on the internet, on social media, and I think that there's a few people who've got, well, I'd call it a different view on this than me, but maybe also coming at it from totally different perspectives. Now, there's the camp who says, it's not about charging your worth, and, that's a terrible thing to say, a terrible thing to do. Now, I think that what they're thinking is that we're talking about what you as a person is worth. And the question I have is, what is a person worth? And why are we trying to sell ourselves as a person? I don't think that's what they're saying is actually all about. And it's just being twisted around into meaning something that it was never intended to mean. Charging what you're worth doesn't mean it's about you as a human being. Because how can you put a price tag on that? What are you worth? When I was in Egypt, actually many years ago, it was kind of funny because my husband and I are both quite blonde, and obviously we stood out in the center of town because there's not a lot of tourists hanging around there. They generally are on their tourist buses or in the resorts. And someone walked up to my husband and offered him 20 camels for me, which we thought was kind of funny. Now, we're not really sure what a camel is worth, but he obviously thought that I was worth 20 camels. And I said to my husband, well, you better get at least 30. Like, I don't know what that really means. But here we are. So maybe then he was actually saying, well, that's what I'm worth as a person, because the guy didn't want anything specific from me. He just wanted to buy me like I was some piece of collateral. But here we are in a normal world here, and we're in the business world. And when we're talking about charging your worth, we're not talking about you selling yourself. Someone's not buying you. They are buying a service from you. They're buying an outcome that you can help them to achieve. So charging your worth really means, short for charging what your service is worth, charging the value of your service, not your value as a human being. So we just can separate these two things straight away and now look at when someone's saying, okay, what are you worth? What is this worth? What is your service worth, or charge your worth? That's what they're meaning is, what is it that you're offering? And what is that worth? Now, this is where most of us, especially women in services, we get really stuck because, how do you put a value on your time, your experience, your expertise? And I think the common thing that we default to is thinking about, well, what did I get paid in my job? They figure out an hourly rate from that, and that's probably about what I'm worth in terms of my service. This is a way of looking at it that's not very helpful to you as a business owner, because you're not an employee. When someone hires an employee, they're hiring a person to work for them in their company. And you'll have a list of responsibilities, and based on the level of responsibility in that organization, they've figured out a basic pay rate for you. However, as you would know in any industry, except one that's regulated by the government across the whole country. But in any business, a job title can have totally different pay across different businesses. Even one that's got a similar set of responsibilities can be totally different. So there is no real value that's out there. The value of your service, what you're worth to your clients in terms of what you're offering them, the outcome, what you can do for them, is really determined by you. And it's also then determined by them through how well you communicate that value. And the funny thing is, it also changes. So when we are in business, you might start out at a level that feels good to you, and it will change. It'll change as you evolve, and it should change as well, because again, your value, your worth is not determined by external sources. It's not determined by your competitors. It's not even really determined by your clients, the market. Because look at any market out there in the world, and there are some people who could be struggling to sell something for a very small amount, minuscule amount of dollars. And there are others who are right up there with an extremely, maybe 10, 20 times the price for the same thing. So you see, it's not the market that determines the value or determines, what your service is worth. It actually is you. And I know how hard and scary that sounds, because you think, well, how do I figure it out then? What do I base it on? And this is the beautiful thing, is you base it on what it needs to be for you. And there's a whole framework that I love to go through. I won't say a whole framework. It's a very easy one, but this is something I help my clients with all the time, because what I see a lot of women doing is, for number one, basing pricing off what they see out there in the market. Number two, basing it off what they used to be paid in their jobs. Number three, basing it off what other people tell them they should charge. And all of this is external views. And none of it's really coming from within, coming from what they know they offer, what they know they can do. And none of them are really thinking about what that value is to the other person. Because here's the beauty of it. Often what we're offering is something that seems easy to us. We have experience in it. We've done it for a long time. It comes naturally. Maybe it's a gift or a talent that you've got. You think, well, it's just, what I do. That how is it worth so much? How could it be worth more than this? And that when we look at it from another perspective and think, well, what is it that we're really helping our clients to achieve and to do? And what does that mean for them? What does that bring them? We start to get deeper to what your service, what that is actually worth, how to charge your worth. And then you get into what that's worth, what that outcome could be worth. And then you look at, well, there's different ways we could get there. And so you can price and charge your services at different rates, depending on the level of outcome you might get, the length of time you might support them to get that outcome. There's so many ways that you can cut this cake and many ways that you can do it. And it becomes much more about, well, how do you want to deliver it? What is your method? What's your way of doing it? What is the way that is right for you? And that's where we get into then how you charge your worth, how you charge your value, the value that you bring to somebody. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing once we have it. So you can just imagine there's more than one way of achieving almost anything. And instead of being out there giving somebody a service that's similar to what somebody else is doing, you're getting to a similar outcome, you're doing it in your way. And the outcome that you can promise, it shouldn't be based on what other people are promising. It's really about, well, what is it that you're delivering? What's that value that you're bringing to this? What I'd love to do, which, I'll just give you this little tidbit here at the end, if you're still with me and we're still talking about this, is thinking about what your difference is. Because when you stand apart from everybody else, and really apart, and you're basing your pricing, the service offering off your value, like really what is within you that's unique and different, what you're bringing to this, that's where the price becomes very out of the market norm. That's where you can really feel like you can step away. Base your rates off what you want to be earning and what you feel is a fair exchange for your expertise and time. And it's not just about that. You think, well, there's a service that might take me an hour to do, but it takes me an hour because I've had spent the last 20 years doing this, and it's very natural and easy for me. It's not about what is your time worth or what is that 1 hour worth. It's really what is the outcome and what's that value of it for the client. It's a far more effective question to be asking yourself in how you're pricing your services than trying to figure out your own value or trying to figure out what an hour of your time is worth. And this is the premise of, I guess the whole pricing strategy that I get into with my Business Jam clients. We spend quite a bit of time working on this because for each person, it's different. There's a different way to look at it. There's different things that are important, and there's a different outcome that you're wanting from your business. So your pricing is not based off an external market that's cookie cutter approach to how you should do it. Really, there's a blank page in front of you, and what I help you do is create the design on your blank page for what it is that you're trying to achieve. If we think about we're building a house, well, we're creating the blueprint for your dream home. I'm not giving you my blueprint for my dream home and saying, here, this should be good enough for you, just go and build that. No, it's really, you won't be happy with my dream home. It's probably not got the things that you want in it. So I help you create that blueprint for your dream home. And that's what you should be thinking and asking yourself those questions that help you uncover, well, what is it I want? What is the outcome I want? How much do I want to earn? How many hours do I want to be working? All of these things go into it because it helps you get the outcome that's right for you. And that is how you really charge your worth. And what charging your worth really means is factor in a lot of what you bring, your value, what it is that you have for your clients. And that is how you end up charging your worth and not charging what the market or whatever you think the market's telling you, because I want you to go out there and have a look. There's probably a massive, huge range in whatever niche you're in. Guarantee you, unless it's controlled by the government, that there is no market rate, really. There's a market with a huge range out there, and you can decide to place yourself wherever you want, whether you're in the range, outside of the range, whatever. Does it really matter? It doesn't if you're providing a service. That's what your client wants. Okay, and I think I've said enough on that one today, so I will leave that with you there to have a ponder about and think about. I'd love to hear your feedback and what came up for you as I've been talking about this today. Did you feel triggered at the start when we're talking about charging your worth being about your personal value or your worth as a human being? And how do you feel now that you think, well, actually my worth is about what it is that I'm helping someone else to do, the outcome that you're offering, which is a service, a professional service. You're here as a business owner. You're not selling yourself as a human being to somebody. And you're probably going to be worth more than 30 camels too. So I'll leave that with you today, and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave me a review on Apple, and if you do leave a review, then you might get selected as my review of the month and get a bit of a shout out. So make sure that you include your name and your business name as well if you want me to include that when I give you a shout out. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and you'll hear again from me next week. Bye. Are your services aligned to the right clients for your business? Well, if you're not seeing the right clients coming in, then that's a sure sign that there's something out of alignment in your strategy. They're not being attracted by what it is that you're putting out there. So there's clearly a detachment there. It's a bit like if you try to push a supermarket trolley and not all the wheels are pointing in the same direction, it's going to feel really hard, and you know what that's like. Whereas when the wheels are aligned, they're all pointing towards the right direction, it just works so much easier. Now, this is what can happen when you get your strategy into alignment so that you're bringing in the right clients to the right services, you're profitable, and it just feels easy. It's like that beautiful trolley that wheels away and you don't have to fight it to get it around a corner. Now, this is exactly what I share with you inside my program, Business Jam, where you're going to get my simple blueprint for alignment in your strategy so that you're bringing in the right clients with the right services, and you've got the marketing and sales journey to support that. to take them from stranger to customer. Without the hustle, without cold DMs and sleazy sales tactics, without complicated funnels, and without even paid ads. Sure, you can use them, but you don't have to use them if you've got this set up right. Business Jam opens May the 30th, and the doors close again on the 3rd of June. So now's the time to check it out and see whether this might be the solution that you need for your business. And trust me, if marketing is feeling hard, if you're not getting enough clients and not getting the quality of clients that you really want, then it is your strategy where the changes need to be made. It's not a matter of doing more marketing to get them in, because if they're not buying now with what you're doing, then why would you expect they will buy when you're doing more? So head over to jessicaosborne.com/businessjam to learn more, to find out about this program. Come and join me, and let's get your business and your strategy aligned so that it is rolling smoothly for you into the end of 2022.